Here's a Rhea Ripley hot take that might upset a lot of her fans, and it comes from a wrestling legend, so don't get mad at me. Rhea Ripley is slated for a major tag team match in her home country of Australia at Crown Jewel, but not everyone is thrilled with her current creative direction. The women's world champion, former women's world champion that is, has found herself in a complex storyline where she is aligned with once rival, now alliance member, Io Sky, against the duo of Asuka and Kairi Sane. While many fans have enjoyed the drama, me included, wrestling veteran Jim Cornette, who is pretty much negative about every single thing, and that's just the truth. He was really negative about everything, and so now he's given a scathing critique suggesting the feud is actively hurting Rhea Ripley's star power. Oh, this is a good one. Now, I just want to say, and I will explain my take because I don't want to waste any of y'all's time, I am a fan of this feud. On the opposite side, on the flip side, on the end of this rant by old Jimmy, I will explain why I actually like this feud and why I think it's good for all of the women involved, including Rhea Ripley. But let's get to Cornette's comments. Now, he was speaking on the recent episode of his Jim Cornette Experience podcast, and the outspoken manager and promoter argued that Rhea's involvement with the other three stars, okay, is a misstep because it diminishes her aura. Now, Cornette expressed his disdain for the storyline. That's putting it very politely, suggesting that the other performers on or are in this feud. So he thinks the other performers in this feud are not on her level. Okay? Now, I don't disagree with that, but Io Sky is pretty freaking over. She's a former world champion, Asuka, future Hall of Famer. Kairi Sane's just there. She's there to take the pin. Jimmy, I don't know about that one, so this is what he had to say. If the television segment is any indication of what these three others are going to be contributing to this thing, I'd love to see her in and out of this thing as quickly as possible, because that was just stinky bad. Now, his take suggests that Rhea, as a top-level star, should be protected, which I agree with, and booked in a dominant singles-focused program. Okay. Now, this is interesting because Jim Cornette's hot take, if you will, has sparked debate among fans. One side of the argument is that a star of Rhea's caliber could be brought down by this storyline. And I guess it has some merit. Now, on the other side, many believe that working with established legends like Asuka and then a just kind of their type star in Kairi Sane only adds to Ripley's resume and showcases her versatility against other wrestling styles, right? And it shows that, hey, she's an ambassador for the company. She's going over to Australia. She's doing all this media. But here's where I have an issue. I see this being pretty clear cut and not that big of a deal. I see it actually as a positive, okay? You have a situation in which Rhea Ripley, for the better part of 2.5 years, has consistently and constantly be involved in the world title picture. Her breakout year in 2023, her Royal Rumble win, her win over Charlotte Flair, boom, she's women's world champion. She goes on. The only reason that she vacates the title after WrestleMania 40 last year is because of injury. Okay, so she's sidelined for a little bit. She comes back. Boom, she's right back in the title picture with Liv Morgan. That plays out the rest of 2024 constantly. It's because Rhea keeps getting hurt, right? Shoulder injury, broken orbital bone for the entire 2024. It doesn't wrap up until nearly a year later at the Raw on Netflix premiere in January. Then she's champion. She loses to Io Sky. She works a women's triple threat title match at WrestleMania, right? Then she goes and she feuds with Io. So you are consistently seeing her in the title picture. Now, once she lost that women's world title to Io Sky, WWE kept her in the title picture. The only problem was they kept her in the title picture and just kept beating her over and over and over and over again. It got repetitive. Just enough already, and we get it. By doing that, WWE, they kept taking a chance of, okay, we got to get Io over. Well, they got Io over, but they did so by having Io beat Rhea or screwing over Rhea. And it was actually bringing Rhea a little bit down because she is a top-level performer and one of the most over stars, not only the women's division, but in the entire company. And I have made the argument in countless videos now that I believe WWE putting her in a tag team program and aligning her with Io Sky is actually a great move by the company and a great move for her career, because it takes her out of the world title picture, which she's clearly not going to win the title, right? They've built up Stephanie Valkyrie. They had Io Sky put her over. They want to build her up as the next big star. You have to do that. I totally understand it, totally get it. But at the same time, what do you do with Rhea, right? You could keep her in the singles picture, right? And have her do someone else. Or you could just kind of segue for a minute. And WWE does this with countless stars now. It's like their new MO. And once you have a pattern that works, you just keep going with it. I'll win for that. And it's like, okay, well, we're not going to have Rhea as a top tier, world champion. So what can we do? Well, we got to rebuild her up a little bit, right? Get her some momentum, get her some wins, get her in some programs. And that's what they're doing. And they're doing the exact same thing for Io Sky. Asuka, Kairi Sane, they're there to get beat. That's their roles, that's their jobs. But WWE has done an absolute banger of a job to get a lot of heat on Asuka and Kairi Sane with these angles. And I would say that Asuka and Kairi Sane turning on Io Sky, great move. And the stories and the angles and the direction that they're going with all 4 stars has been really fun. Like, I would say that this is one of the better storylines on WWE TV, and just in terms of like, okay, it's simple, it's layups, it's underhand throws, but like, just hit it, right? It doesn't have to make complete sense as long as it's executed well. And that would be my argument, right? It's not the sexiest storyline. It's not the most captivating storyline in the world, right? But it's a situation in which, hey, Asuka, Kairi saying they had targeted Rhea. Io was there by association. Once Kairi and Asuka picked up on the fact that, hey, Io's not on board fully with this, they turned on her, right? It's simple. It's not sexy, but it gets the job done. But the execution of the heel turn and the execution of all these angles and getting enough heat on these two against these baby faces as heels, I actually think it's been very well done. So I don't look at this as a misstep. I don't look at this as a wasted opportunity. I actually praise WWE for what they're doing. And I think Cornette is just a negative, miserable human being who desperately wants wrestling to be like it was in the 80s. And it's like, dude, you need to stop watching, because like, you're just, I get it. That's his MO. And, a lot of people watch his content just to hear him complain. But it's like, we got enough problems in this world. Cornette wanting the pro wrestling business to be like it was in the 80s. Newsflash, when he was in the 90s, he wanted it to be in the 80s. And when it was in the early 2000s and the 2010s, he wanted it to be in the 80s. I say, Jimmy, don't watch any modern pro wrestling. I say live in the 1980s. And you'll be a much happier person. But that's just me. Let me know in the comments here below. What do you guys think about his hot take? Hit that like button, subscribe button, comment down below. Thank y'all for changing my life, and I will see y'all in the next video.